All right, Johnny Million, welcome to the show, everybody. It's Hal Sparks' Megaworldwiide radio edition. We are waiting on Chicago to join us, or for us to join them. I don't know technically what the hang-up is, but we'll work it out. And either way, we're just going to broadcast as if,
Yes.
yes, until the world decides to end itself, we will act as if it intends to spin on. It has been quite a week in terms of the Epstein slow drip, the I guess water torture that Donald Trump intends to subject his legacy to till the end of time. Honestly, thinking it was. I think it's hard to pin down, Johnny Million, what was the most kind of egregiously awful / hilarious part of the week in terms of the Epstein stuff. And I think the biggest one was the White House in general, like the DOJ, Pam Bondi, Donald Trump himself in several instances, saying, this is it. This is the last stuff. There's no more to be seen.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. And you're like, hi, dummy. You guys said that last year. You said that in July. Yep. You wrote a memo and posted it on the DOJ's website. Nobody signed it because they knew better. Right? But they said, that's it. Okay, there's just no more stuff. There's just nothing to see here. Now of course, not only do we find out that Elon Musk begged to be on the island, but that Howard Lutnick, who famously made this comment about him and his wife deciding together, which sounds like his wife overruled him wanting to go back. Like how about I'll take you to the house and I'm going to go back over there. And she's like,
right.
You are never going to set foot in the same room with that man again. Of course, I would believe that under normal circumstances, using sort of like an 80s marriage sitcom kind of relationship. My brain automatically goes to comedy sketch with this.
Sure.
Like,
oh yeah.
Where they're both walking back and like, whew, that was something, right? You are never going to. You're right. I am never going to. You want to wait in the house? I forgot something over there. My keys. It might take me about an hour and a half, or maybe 3 minutes to find it. I'm not quite sure what kind of an evening it's going to be. And like my brain goes there immediately. But in the interim, this is one of the quotes from our dear friend Howard Lutnick. That stood out to me.
That I will never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again.
This part.
So I was never in the room with him socially.
Never socially.
For business.
No business.
Or even philanthropy.
Even philanthropy. Okay. Well, guess what? Well, guess what? In the Epstein files, there is literally direct evidence of all three of those things. He and his whole family and a bunch of other people and some kids they rented from some, agency in Eastern Europe went to the island for a social visit. He contributed to a charity that Epstein's was a part of. And the sort of newest break is they purchase stocks together. I will in a particular company, the Southern Trust Company. And there you go. Yeah. So the purchaser, Howard Lutnick. There he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Good old Howard Lutnick. Get this up here so I can show you the whole thing.
It's so hard.
There he is, kids. That's the whole thing. That's Howard Lutnick. Signature page to 350,000 series in preferred stock investment in Advent Solutions Incorporated. So somebody, either he or somebody else, made a note as to what he was signing to, so he could he's one of these billionaire guys that has so much money moving around that he could sign off on something that was, under $500,000 and not bother to read the paperwork. His people read it, and that's that, right? So they literally write on the end of it, like, oh, this is what you're signing, by the way, on the signing page. And there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Preferred stock purchase agreement into a business with Jeffrey Epstein. That's in the Epstein files. You know who's also in the Epstein files, Johnny Million?
Do tell.
Me.
Yay!
Yes, I made an appearance. Now, I made an appearance with Stephanie Miller and John Fugelsang and Aisha Tyler because Leslie Groff, who's one of Trump's enablers in chief, Epstein's enablers in chief, but I mean, tangentially, was a subscriber to the mailing list for the Beacon Theater. And so there was a Rufus Wainwright show coming up or something that was in their list of emails. And in it was all the upcoming shows for the Beacon Theater, including the 2012 Beacon Theater show of Sexy Liberal with me and Aisha Tyler and John Fugelsang and Stephanie Miller.
Congrats.
So, I have to say that is officially the best way to be if you're going to show up, being included in a mailing list. I take great pride in that. If Epstein saw my name in that list of things, he like in the upcoming shows, he would do that little click here to unsubscribe. I'm convinced.
I hope so.
Yeah, that would shut him down from the from wanting to be on the Beacon Theater's mailing list ever again. By the way, one of the other parts of this whole like people buying into this company, besides Jeffrey Epstein's trust, which I think is the Southern Trust Company, which very well may have been when Netflix signed on to this particular thing, may very well have been the same trust company or related to the same trust company that Epstein sold not like his house through. Right? So, because he famously bought his house from Jeffrey Epstein's trust. And I gotta tell you, I love me some timeline salad. That's timeline salad is probably the most delicious of all the current attempts to cover for Donald Trump and his buddies and Elon Musk and all these people. Like we'll just pretend they met before he was a convicted pedophile, or we'll just pretend that after that nobody hung out with him and you would never hang out with him ever again. Or you would never be certainly introduced to him after that date and then decide it was a good idea from that point going forward to hang out with him. So in the case of, Elon Musk, who meets him, I think, in 2011, or 2012, clearly after, at least these are when the emails are. Again, there is a feeling that in viewing these emails that Epstein was always thinking somebody else might eventually see these. Or they might be used in blackmail. Like the stuff I have, I got to get you to do an Access Hollywood quote without doing it myself. So a lot of what he writes, you'll notice that his stuff seems kind of moderating in the emails versus, say, like Peter Attia, the guy who became Barry Weiss's health guru at CBS News and was going to be the new Dr. Oz. That guy in his email exchanges with Jeffrey Epstein is pretty gross, pretty blatantly just sexist and sleazy. And Epstein's responses to him are kind of like, well, my goodness, almost like pearl clutchy, right? And this is true across even with like even when Elon Musk asks when will be the wildest party / day, night that will have your wildest party, the response from Leslie Groff is just a date. You know what I mean? Like there are a couple of times where Epstein clearly thinks that certain communications with other people are going to be hidden. Those would be the people that he's, I guess, got a closer relationship to, or he doesn't blackmail. Those will be a little more sleazy. That's his exchanges. Mostly these are assistants and people who work for him directly. But anybody in the big, wider, circle of his, social tech, political sphere, those folks all are like just slathering all over him and speaking in tones that it seems like they think will appeal to him, that might make it a higher priority that they would get invited to the island for something awful. There are obviously rare exceptions to that. I would argue that Bill Clinton's exchanges, or the exchanges between him and Bill Clinton's lawyer and one of his assistants, those read in many ways like Epstein is cultivating a closer relationship with those people, like they're almost moles inside the Clinton world, which is particularly weird. But when he talks to Trump, when he talks to Clinton or any of these other folks that are clearly, I guess, savvy enough to know that this could get out into the open. They're speaking almost clinically and kind of basically. You could look at Clinton's letter in the birthday book, his note in the birthday book, versus what Trump drew. This is the difference between somebody who's like, okay, I don't completely trust this guy, and increasingly I have a reason not to trust him, and I got to watch out for this, versus Trump, who's like, I'm on the inside, high five myself. Let's take a break and see if we can come back and get on the air with Chicago or see what's straightened out there.
Yeah, Chicago keeps getting the waiting for host, but I sent them the right link, so I'm telling them to clear their cache and cookies right now.
Yes, and we're going to have cookies during the break. We'll be back right after this. It's the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide on WCPT Radio, Chicago's Progressive Talk. And then I should play like my own theme music, I suppose, right? Just try to find.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Let's go with
the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
Who can ever forget? Hold on, this one.
Who can ever forget? So they're going to grab the audio from Twitch in the meantime.
Okay.
But we are on the link that I sent them, and I sent them a little screenshot of all of us coexisting under this link. So.
Yep.
So I don't know what's up with their browser, or why it would be waiting for host.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an odd thing that happens sometimes, and I don't want to kick you off to get them in when they should be able to get in okay.
Yeah, I'm going to click the link.
Yeah, hold on one second. Let me open this up. And we'll just act as if we're coming back in 30 seconds, 20 seconds, something like that.
Do it.
Okay. You can count it for me. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000. Well done. Welcome back to the show. It's Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide. We're experiencing some timeline difficulties. We're stuck in timeline salad right now. We have Howard Nutlick and everybody who's, and Elon Musk and all these folks are trying to rearrange the space-time continuum to make it appear as if they didn't become friends with Jeffrey Epstein after he was a convicted felon. And also that Donald Trump is trying to pretend that they stopped hanging out after a certain date, which apparently it was just, I need to hang out with you on the down low. And you can just, in the interim, hang out with my other buddies, namely Steve Bannon, to the tune of, 16 hours of media training that Steve Bannon was giving him, filming him in Paris. That's right. Like Jeffrey Epstein and Steve Bannon took a little holiday together to the city of love. But again, my favorite part in the back and forth of this word salad is the fact that Howard Lutnick says, I was never in the room with that man socially. I was never in the room with him for business or philanthropy. Well, guess what? U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. Yes?
I have to say that I just tested it on my phone, and I'm also getting the waiting for host.
Are you?
So I don't know why it's not letting you.
Are you in the wrong link as well? Is your phone on the wrong link?
No, I just copied it from the email that I linked from. Yeah, I can. I don't want to read it to you.
Okay. Hold on one second. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy this link, and I don't know why. There's a weird name for my thing. Hold on. Let's do this. I'm going to pump this in there to you, and is that the one you're on?
Oh, let me look.
It's always hard because there's this one.
Where'd you send it?
Sorry. I put it in for Andrea to give to you. So in the interim, yeah. Let's see. Yeah.
Oh, this one's for Chrome?
I don't know. It's just the one working. But I will say right now that there's some weird name on mine all of a sudden that is different than the name I give it. So I don't know if we have a hacky situation going on.
All right, I'm gonna try to come in as test right now on that link that you just sent.
Okay. And see if that
That looks like it's working.
Okay, because that's you. You're on there now. Although I don't see it.
Yeah.
It's funny. I don't see it popping up in mine.
Oh.
No. Let's see. That's gonna be a weird thing. Let me see if I can fix this for a second. I'm gonna go in here and
It keeps dumping me every time I connect. It says thanks for joining, then it goes away.
yeah, something's up. Hold on one second. I'm gonna turn off interview and bring you back in. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna kick you out and yeah, shut this down. Turn it off here. And then yeah. Don't come in on that one, Johnny. There you go. Are you in? There we go. Copy link. And then I'm sending him a new one. Don't send him that one. Send him this one. Then and he can send that one to Chicago. That'll hopefully remedy it. That was weird. There was like some other portion of this, so I gotta kick this out and hopefully he'll come back in on that one. That's odd. Like it was some other interview. It sounded like a podcast or something. I did not do that at all. Sketchy as heck. So we'll wait for him to come back in. And in the meantime, talk to the chat room and we'll see if this works and bring him back in. It's always fun, right? When we're doing this. In the meantime, I'm going to bring up a couple of stories that should jump off the page specifically. Let's see if he's getting back in there. Same link and he's typing. Let's see if he should get in there. It's a whole new link. Yep. Hopefully it will get to him and it will work and things. Also, I'll send it via his messages and see if he pops back in. What's not to like? All right, here we go. I'm just working on some stuff. Give me 1 second. See if I can get... Where's Jen in there? There he is. Boots you. I gave you a... Okay, Command V. Whoops. There you go. I don't know why this would be... Gotta love this kind of stuff, don't you? This is great radio, I bet. Especially if they're grabbing it off the interwebs right now. I will say this, that while I'm fixing this in the background, the sketchiest, scariest part of all this stuff very well may be why are you not changing? What do you not want to do there? That's fun. So everybody's acting up today. It's a clear attack. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it just hadn't updated. Is this tip? Trump named an explosive tip regarding Epstein's death authorized murder, which again. Oh wait, death authorized murder, which I'm hearing audio from Chicago or from you back at me, Johnny. But there you are. I see you. I'm gonna put. Yep, I see you. And then I'm gonna bring. There we go. We got WCPT in there. Fantastic.
Woo!
And we're up and sort of running. I think in general.
Yeah, that other link was just bonkers.
Yeah, I think I think that was a hacker attack, or to not be too self-important, an error in the software. So we're live on WCPT. Excellent. Glad to hear it. Okay.
Nice.
I love doing technical difficulty stuff live on the air. It's fun that way. It's like a behind the scenes thing. It's like the Aerosmith's The Making of Pump, only without any shots of me in spandex, which is your loss.
And no matte foundation makeup.
Oh yes, that's true. It was definitely caked on.
They had so much makeup on.
They were against a white background, so that was one of the reasons why it would never seem like enough in the camera. That's the issue.
And the close-ups got closer and closer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, by the way, can you hear this? Yeah, farts in C minor, baby.
Yeah, I can.
That's from yesterday. Yep.
That's impressive.
That's from the live stream.
That's you laughing at the pedal?
Yep.
Thank For those of you that don't know, let me bring everybody up to speed. Is that I bought Johnny Million a guitar pedal called the Fart Pedal 2 because number 2 is better, and I brought it to Chicago when we did the live Chicago thing last year, and it stayed in my bag. I forgot to give it to you because we were so caught up and I was running around as I often am. And then I made a point. I even set an alarm on my phone, like, give Johnny Fart Pedal. So I am completely to blame if you watch his live stream and you're like, what is that noise?
It's all his fault, baby.
They're going to think you're way more talented than you are. Like, wow, not only can he play guitar in key, but yeah, so it made its debut onto the show this week.
It did, yep.
And was it received well, or did you have any complaints from the neighbors?
It was. One person, I don't remember which handle it was, but one person said, how can I go to the grocery store now when it's obvious that I've been crying?
Well, just tell them you're weeping over the affordability hoax.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you heard this part when I was on with you, but when we were trying to get you back on, was in the Epstein files that were released, one of the tips either came to or through Mark Epstein, his brother, that's in the actual files, that Jeffrey Epstein was murdered in his jail cell. Mark Epstein wrote in the tip, I have reason to believe he was killed because he was about to name names. I believe President Trump authorized his murder. So Trump is completely vindicated, I think, right? He's completely innocent.
Cool.
Yeah. This is from the Mark Epstein submitted to the FBI that Trump ordered the murder of his brother Jeffrey Epstein. This is that part of it right here. I'm a threat intake special agent. I am a threat intake examiner at the FBI, a tie at the National Threat Operations Center unit, where we received information from the public regarding criminal activity and threats to national security. The following information is being forwarded by your situational awareness and any action deemed appropriate. And this was emergency false, threat to life, false, because the guy's already dead, I guess. Submitted text. Jeffrey Epstein was murdered in his jail cell. I have reason to believe he was killed because he was about to name names. I believe President Trump authorized murder. Violation questions. What was the exact crime occurred? Murder. Who did the crime incident, when did it occur? Please provide an appropriate date and time. August 9th, 2019, the death of Jeffrey Epstein. Where did the crime incident take place? At the Federal Corrections facility at Manhattan. And apparently from his own brother. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. And again, most of these things, like, you can tell that there is a spattering of things that they just assume the public, and especially maggots, will believe is just fake or preposterous, or people just trying to destroy Trump because they've got Trump derangement syndrome and all that.
Yeah.
And some of it is there literally to weigh against real accusations. There was a picture that came out that was all over the internet, especially on X, in Bot City. And I'll tell you about it on the other side, because is it AI or isn't it? Is it live or is it Memorex? Maybe it's Maybelline. We'll be back.
Yeah.
Let's see if Chicago can cue the music. Hey! There it is. Wow. Hooray. Yeah, that was strong. I have a feeling like
Very strong.
I have a feeling like that like the software I use might just not randomize its numbers as well as it should. You know what I mean? For its when it makes a new link, and it literally matched.
Yeah. So like the link number that we've been using for months and months has remained the same. Like I see it in all the old messages. So it's so weird that it didn't work this time.
Yep, but it was named something else in mine. Yeah.
When you sent me the other one that was all numbers, it said it was the pet dog interview.
Yes, that's what it said on my end. Like pure dog interview.
Yeah. Pure dog, yeah.
Yeah. I have no idea what that
weird.
is. Right.
Enough of those half-assed dogs. Give me a pure dog.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
Coming back in 20.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm going to sneeze right in 18 seconds. Thank you. I don't know if you saw this one, Johnny Million.
Now let's get back with Hal Sparks' radio program, Mega Worldwide.
So I'm showing it on the
good.
Yeah, it's showing it on the live stream right now that there's a picture of a guy who looks like Jeffrey Epstein joined the Grateful Dead, and he's walking in Israel with what are supposedly 2 Mossad agents, which is why they have earpieces in. If you look really close, they've got IFBs.
They either of them could kill you with their bare hands.
Clearly, yes, and they're barehanded right now, so I feel threatened.
The claws.
Very snazzy gray man outfits, like blend in anywhere. Really no defining, characteristics at all.
The crotch is a little low, and the guy on the left, his jeans, that's riding a little low. I feel like he needs to hitch up his pants.
I don't know. Maybe he's in charge. That's how you know who the boss is. But behind them is an elderly Jeffrey Epstein lookalike, an older Jeffrey Epstein lookalike with a full beard and long shaggy hair, wearing sunglasses, and everybody's like, "It's Jeffrey, he's alive," walking around in Israel. Now, in the corner on some of these pictures, there is a watermark from an AI, from Gemini. And I made the point, yesterday, the day before, I forget when we actually covered this, I think it was yesterday, is that there is a unique opportunity to hide and dissemble real evidence now, claiming it's AI, just by adding the watermark.
Yeah.
What a great cover. Right? Now, all you got to do is, and if you just do it and release it through a myriad of sites and just let it pepper everywhere, people will see it and not know what to believe. And eventually people will default, I think, onto the side of it's AI. So in one version of the picture, not the one I'm showing on the screen, by the left ankle of the guy who's in charge with the dangly crotch that Johnny's eyes went straight to, there was a
Dangly, no. It's a little low. Dangly is not the word.
You're right. It's just kind of like it's like joggers. Like he's wearing a he's ready for some kung fu fighting, and he's got the Chuck Norris action jeans with the extra.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
Yeah. Those
shoes were fast
as lightning. Yeah. They but they all had that diamond shaped extra denim in their crotch, so that they had that extra room to do high kicks. Man, I wanted a pair of those. East-West Markets Exchange in Chicago. Come on. Going down there trying to buy me some Chuck Norris jeans. But they didn't have them in slim extra short when I was in high school.
What was the magazine that they had the ads for those things, and the throwing stars and
Black Belt. It was also Kung Fu. That was the one. Kung Fu always had the Japanese stuff in it, which I found particularly sort of borderline racist and silly. You know what I mean? Is that they'd have all this Japanese stuff in a magazine called Kung Fu Illustrated, and I'm like, nobody, no. That's
not how that goes.
Yeah, no, you're not gonna. You're just kind of, you're just gonna
roll with that.
Yeah, you're just gonna do a bunch of pierogi, cooking stories in French cuisine weekly. You're just gonna do that, are you? It just doesn't matter. Like all us white people blend together, and so do the Asians. It's just like, who cares? Yeah. It's a cool name. It just sounds cooler, anyways. And but Sho Kosugi would always be on the cover of it. The guy from Enter the Ninja and all the ninja movies. With Lee Van Cleef as the bad guy. Yep.
Lee Van Cleef.
Yep. Yeah. So the good, the bad, and the ugly, which has got to be the roughest casting anybody's ever experienced. Like You got a movie. You're in a big Western with Clint Eastwood called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Who am I? Am I the good? No. That's Clint Eastwood. Of course, he's the hero. Am I the bad then? That's awesome. No. That's Lee Van Cleef.
No.
You're the.
Hi, dude.
I'm the what? I'm the
No.
what? You're ugly. You're the ugly. Well, it's a paycheck. Do I have to speak Italian? No. All right. Well, I'll do it. But anyways, the Epstein files have created their kind of own sideline, mini industry of people diving into this. And the idea that I think any of this is going to go away soon, like Trump hoped this would finally shut it down. Like he keeps trying to close. It's like somebody like in an old movie trying to shut a suitcase with too much stuff by sitting on it and stuff like. And then when they finally jump off, they sit on it and they're like, I got it. And then you hear the latches go clack, and then they fly up into the ceiling because it's too packed and it turns them into a catapult. That is effectively where Donald Trump is at this point. I have never seen somebody try to shut something down so poorly over and over. I think everybody's ready to move on, and everybody's like, no, we're not. And even with Howard,
pure Streisand effect.
Yeah, Musk and Lutnick both this week. Trump was like, I didn't see anything about it, but if it was big headlines, I'd have seen it. And like, it was everywhere. It was all over the front pages, especially
whenever they're interviewed.
Lutnick.
Like Johnson's the same way. Whatever, it's like, I don't know, I haven't seen that. Really, the thing that is on everybody's front page of their phone right now, you haven't seen that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I honestly, maybe there's a level of plausible deniability that he's trying to do, which makes sense. And since his staff has been trained only to show him, stuff that's favorable to him, I don't think he's seen a newspaper since, a year ago, January. By the way, there was also this, of course, this thing where Trump posted on his Truth Sinkhole account the Obamas with their heads on apes, and then apologized to Tim Scott and took it down. Didn't apologize, blamed it on a staffer, which is his version of apology, right?
And he doesn't take anything down.
No.
All of his garbage truth posts going all the way back to I hate Taylor Swift and all that crap is still up there.
So Trump posted last night, many people have commented on a post that was put up by a White House staffer. I even heard from the family of Jane Goodall, and they said, Mr. President, the apes are upset that you compared them to the Obamas. It was not very nice of you. And I said, I've never thought of it that way. We don't want to make the apes sad. There have been many good and famous apes through the years, such as Coco, Harambe Bear, and the orange one who was friends with Clint Eastwood. Many such examples, enough to fill a whole channel. We want to make apes great again, so I told them to delete it. Just being like piggishly grotesque. Just, unapologetically racist. And again, he is, to use an ape analogy, beating his chest about the fact that he can effectively be this racist. He can be racist to anybody on Fifth Avenue and he won't lose any support.
Right.
That's what he's trying to tell you. Is that...
Yeah, you beat me to it.
Yeah, his own racism is impervious to criticism because the very people that make up his base thrive on it. It's a feature, not a bug. It's not like, we put up with him, he doesn't talk presidential, all that kind of stuff. This is what they've been yearning for. They want someone to call the Obamas pejorative, racist names. And I got to say, Doc Adam and some of the other doctors that have been talking about his mental decline lately, many of them are saying we're a couple of months away from him saying the N-word in public.
Oh, easy. Yeah.
Because there will be nothing. He's used it in the past. He has no problem using it. And he will say it in public because he feels completely untethered to reality, to consequences, to any of that stuff. Over the last, I guess, week and a half or whatever, it's eaten so much bandwidth. The Epstein stuff has eaten so much bandwidth that it's sad. It's a little bit sad because that we missed out on some great, amazing pieces of news that were out there, not the least of which was J.D. Vance being booed at the Olympics, which is, I gotta say, the commentator, because they only flashed him on the screen for a second, right? And this is what listen for what the commentator says.
In an individual sport, what an honor for her.
There is the Vice President, J.D. Vance, and his wife, Usha. Ooh, those are not, those are a lot of boos for him.
Yes.
Those are a lot of those are a lot of boos.
Yeah, don't gaslight us. We hear it. We see it.
Those are a lot of boos for him.
Right on.
Yeah, and they're not booing the team. They didn't boo the team when they came out. They cheered when the team came out. But as soon as he popped up on the screen, the boos started in earnest. It's the reason why Trump is, Trump. One of the things he has talked about is how he got the Olympics and he got FIFA. He got the World Cup to come to the United States. If he goes to either, he will be brutally booed. So even though he brought him and he's like, I probably wouldn't have been invited. I can go now or whatever. He's going to get booed horribly at either one of them. So more than likely, he's not going to show. My theory is that they're going to come up with some.
I don't think so.
The other thing too is they don't want him to fall asleep watching something very exciting. Like, what are they going to? What are they going to have to take him to that he'll be interested in enough to stay awake for? Because he's so self-involved.
Yeah, the Turning Point halftime show.
Yes, with Kid Schlock and the Ramblers. Yeah, I gotta say, it's. I hope they get that drummer who played the flaming drums at the original inaugural and Three Doors Down, to
3 Doors
to reprise. Was
that.
it Kryptonite? Is that their song? Is it? Yeah.
No, that's some.
No.
No, you might be right. That might be it.
Yeah. I don't look it up. I don't care.
Yeah, no, I'm pleased that we don't know.
Right. Exactly. Like, it's almost like there should be a game like of trivia that you lose and you're like, I have no idea. Awesome. You get to move ahead.
They're like, you win. All right.
2 points. If you actually know this, and you hook up somebody to a lie detector, and if you actually know, like, okay, what's the biggest quote from the Melania movie? And if you're like, I don't know, bzz, ow. All right. She goes, F the Christmas. All right. That's the, I'm kidding. It's not in the movie. It's in actual Christmas. But, but if you like, I have no idea. I didn't see it or whatever. Like, you get 5 points. If you watch the trailer too many times to go, oh my God, what is this? And you know enough from the trailer, you get 3 points. I think it's a good idea.
You can't do that either.
No. Yeah. But in sort of the generalized, stories, there's the world spins on in spite of Donald Trump, right? That there are, so many, the world is, as much as Trump, is like, everything is great. There's no war. I basically ended all the wars. They're basically over. Nobody's killing anybody except that all of the areas where he said fighting is over, they're still fighting. Gaza, Congo, the Indians and the Pakistanis weren't directly fighting until there was a breakout in Kashmir, and that's going to happen again. They've not settled the land dispute over Kashmir. There was no peace process where they split it in half. Like, you get the territory, I'll get the Led Zeppelin song, right? They didn't actually agree on anything. And so it's just going to get worse. It's, because he thinks these handshakes are enough. On the other side, there absolutely is zero chance we're going to invade Greenland. If anything is also shaken out in the last 2 weeks, it's that just was nonsense. That just went away. Like, they were like, oh yeah, we're going to let you keep whatever you're doing and keep on doing it. Okay, that was it. And his the answer, I'll have it after we come back from the break. The answer that J.D. Vance gives when Megyn Kelly asks him about Greenland is classic. I mean, for all the maggots, you're like, at least we don't have regular politicians in there. If you have not heard It's a magical answer. We'll be back right after this. It's the House Sparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide.
Yeah, for the people who think they have a dunk when they say like, well, at least he doesn't talk like a politician. He just talks like Trump's version of a politician. He just evades and then brings up the ballroom or brings up how somebody's an awful person. It's so predictable. It's such a ridiculous playbook.
Back in 15.
Excellent. Let me see something.
And you tell me what we got that made him.
Yeah, here it is.
Northward to Greenland and to Canada. But he's been very focused on Greenland.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. This is magic. Like this, I mean, he's a doofus. We know this.
This is Damian Perdue of Think Theory Radio. Saturdays at 6 p.m. You're listening to House Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
What did we hear about? I mean, second only to George W. Bush, the bloviating from the right about the character, charm, personal nature, the humanity of one of their clients has never been more, loudly and vociferously praised as Donald Trump, the everyman who gold leafs every toilet. The guy on his third trophy wife, who is a great example of Christian values. The guy who thinks there's actually 2 Corinthians walking into a bar, and the other thing is at least he doesn't talk like a politician. He talks just like me. Says the person who has absolutely no idea how anything works, including even the most crucial aspects of their own job, including the OSHA safety warnings. And Megyn Kelly had J.D. Vance on because they're doing this kind of like, he might need to be president soon. He's on the 25th Amendment tour, right? Absolutely, like pretending he's going to be the new fill-in, and effectively, we're all going to find out what it would have been like to have Dan Quayle as president. That's what we're going to find out. If and when Donald Trump, keels over, drops out, or is kicked to the curb. And this is, I want everybody to listen to the politababble that comes out of J.D. Vance's mouth. J.P. Mandel's mouth, whatever his name is, when Megyn Kelly asks him what, and kudos to Cuckoo Megyn Kelly, kudos to her for asking a direct question. What did we get in our talks about Greenland? Like all of a sudden you'll hear.
Greenland and to Canada. But he's been very focused on Greenland.
Yes.
And you tell me what we got that made him say, okay, now I'm happy. Because he gave that speech at the UN, like, we need to have Greenland and we need to own it because no one would defend something on lease.
Yeah.
But then by the end of the UN summit, he came out saying, that we're satisfied. But we seem to only have gotten permission that we might have had already to build more military bases on a couple of their outposts.
No, we definitely have gotten much more than...
Yes, we've definitely gotten much more. Here it is.
Definitely.
So finally, a list. We're going to hear it.
What do we initially had. So first of all, again, I think it's important to define the interest here. Greenland is very important to America's national security.
No, it isn't. No, it is not important to define set the parameters at all. We already know the sales pitch. Trump was selling it over and over and over again. We want to know what we got.
Our entire missile defense system, by the way, would be inoperable if the Russians or the Chinese controlled Greenland. So God forbid, I don't think it's going to happen, to be clear, but God forbid some foreign country launches a missile, an ICBM at the United States of America, we couldn't defend ourselves if a foreign country controlled Greenland. And by the way, the Chinese and the Russians have both expressed an interest in controlling Greenland. Okay, so what is the defensive mechanism for Greenland? You have a population of about 60,000 people.
Also not a question, not part of the question at all.
On a massive territory, right? That's like the size of my hometown, and I didn't grow up in a big town. And then on top of that, you have Denmark, which has been one of the better NATO allies, to be clear, but has still radically underinvested in security compared to the Russians and the Chinese. So the president has said...
Yeah, it's kind of smaller than both of those countries.
Very simply, we are on the hook for this island. Like it's one of those unwritten rules that everybody knows that if the Chinese or the Russians affected one of our critical missile defense systems, we would necessarily defend that, but we're not getting anything for it. This is an unfair situation. The United States has no ownership over this island. And
have you heard a single thing that we've gotten that's different at all? Okay, and I think Megyn Kelly, to her credit, asks a direct question and then takes the answer. That's the answer.
You don't get any of the benefit. So let's actually rewrite the rules here a little bit and say if the United States is going to protect the entire world's missile defense system, primarily our own, but other people benefit from it, we should get some benefit from the bargain.
That was it. That's it.
And what's the benefit?
I've been trying. I looked it up. I have tried to figure out what is different at all. Other than
it's all the same from the treaty in the 1950s.
Yeah, the only thing I can come to is that they just literally gave Trump a spanking and sent him home. That they literally threatened him. That they were like, "Oh, we have the Epstein files too, so get out of here." And he went, "Actually, we got everything we wanted. Awesome. Just allow me to save face, and I'll retreat fully." And this has happened
when it comes to defending
across the board. Now, the other big piece of news, Johnny Million, and I'm sure you know this, was TrumpRx.gov started. I'm sure you've
really.
Yeah, you missed this one, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going there.
Let me introduce you to TrumpRx. Find the world's lowest prices on prescription drugs. TrumpRx is right.
What a horrible website.
Just type in the word infertility, and one drug will come up. And this is basically a promo site for what he's been blathering about for a while. But, let's just browse the medicines. Now, one of the things that they've shown is like Wegovy is down $1,300 to $149 a month. Okay, the reason it's down that is because it's reaching market ubiquity. That's, that 60 some odd, they're trying to get 60% of the public to be on it regularly to deal with the obesity problem in the United States. So they're lowering the price on their end to get into more hands. When it was a boutique drug, it's expensive. Once it stops being a boutique drug, you drop the cost. Aspirin used to be very expensive and only a few people could buy it from a guy who made it, and you would have to buy like stomach bitters from some dude off a wagon because that you could make in a bathtub. But if you wanted real medicine, you could only afford it if you could afford a doctor. And you had to be super rich to actually have a doctor of any merit. Otherwise, they would just leech you up and send you home. So let me be abundantly clear. The TrumpRx.gov thing is a copy of, I think it's called GoodRx.com, which is a prescription medicine coupon site that gives you discounts. This is set up by the pharmaceutical companies through insurance, and you can buy, and the difference is that they have all the generics. So all of the drugs sold on this site, on TrumpRx, are the official brand name pharmaceutical drugs from the company themselves. So far, no generics at all. And they're not going to be any. They're going to add everything. It's going to be the name brand because that's how Trump wants it. It's also what the prescription companies have agreed to. And what it'll effectively do is cut it to $10 above what the generic is. So people might pay $10 for what they might think is a safety, of the real brand versus this knockoff I might be getting. Maybe it's from India. Maybe I don't know. Maybe, generics scare me a little bit. I'd rather buy the original one. So there's like a name brand premium that people will pay for this illusion of safety that they think they're getting from the name brand drug. But when we talk about like GoodRx and these other ones, they're effectively, because I'll bring up the page as well. Let's go to this one. You sign up for this and they have GLP-1s for the same price. GLP-1 plans with Wegovy at $149 a month plus the cost of subscription. That's exactly what TrumpRx offers. It's a portal, and then if you fill out the stuff for TrumpRx, you get one of these drugs. Let's say you're going to get, I don't know, here we'll go with Ozempic. There's a very pretty page. You click on, I want the pre-filled pen and what strength, milligrams versus whatever, and it will adjust the cost. How many times you've taken it, 0 to 1, 2 plus, whatever. And then when you fill out this thing, you get a coupon. It literally says coupon on it. It's a coupon. And the coupon...
look at the big gold eagle, Hal. I think you're missing the big gold eagle.
With TrumpRx on the ribbon it's carrying in its talons for America. Yeah, it looks like something that would be spray painted on the door of a monster truck, not on a medical prescription. But this
I'm going to get a tattoo with that.
That's right. Somebody did. TrumpRx saved my life. But all of these are the name brands, at the same price or higher that you would get at GoodRx, and then of course they have the name brands, but they also have the generics. So phentermine, they have the generic Adipex P for $12.39. Qsymia, which is phentermine and topiramate for $59, and then Wegovy is $149 it's the lowest price available, whatever. So they're like, I don't know why it went straight to rhetoric, but whatever. Let's just go to their main, I guess, go to their homepage. Yeah, here you go. So all of these are the same as they are on TrumpRx. It's the same. The only difference is the generics are cheaper and they're offered. So if you go to GoodRx or you go to, I forget, is GoodRx Mark Cuban's company? I think so. But he's got...
The first I've heard of it is today.
Okay, well, this is a site where you go and you can get on, if you're on a regular pharmaceutical, prescription medication, and you have to take it chronically, you can get it from this at a discount. If your insurance doesn't offer a discount by buying in bulk, like Medicare or Medicaid can, in some cases, you can get it this way. And the point is, the price is the same as this Trump nonsense. There's Zepbound, one that we were just looking at, up to 72% off, right? There it is. That's the whole thing. How you buy it, how many, I guess you want a vial of it for this, it'll sell it to you. But if you go over to there it is, the exact same price on GoodRx. There is not only is this nothing special, it has less information. Like you can't even compare against generics. It marks it as sponsored. Like I would argue that everything on TrumpRx should have a sponsored logo on top of it, because it's exactly what it is. This is basically just an ad for Big Pharma. And again, anybody who thought there was going to be this kind of like RFK Jr. anti-Big Pharma movement, you're on drugs, because the reality is Trump made a deal with these folks classically for Operation Fart Steed, if you'll recall.
Captain's log.
No.
And when he was like, the plan was in the original Obama pandemic plan that they had put, which was to pre-buy, if you have to buy a novel antiviral or a vaccine, pre-buy a bunch of it so they can get to making it quickly. And then if any of them are successful, you'll buy more of that. You'll get dibs on it instead of the private market being able to grab all of them, so you can hand them out to the populace to make sure people are covered and they can get them for free if there's a pandemic, because that's what you're going to need to do to survive it. And that was clearly, well, they did that. They followed that. That's what Operation Fart Steed was.
Captain's log.
So in that, we gotta take a break. We'll be back right after this. I think Philip Bittner will be joining us. We got to make sure he's got the right link too, that he doesn't end up on the Pure Dog Show.
Oh yeah,
yeah. We'll be back right after this. After Captain's Log.
Captain's log.
All right.
And let me go look.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andrea, that last one you sent is the one that works.
Yeah, that was super weird. And they found the Pure Dog Talk, the actual link for that's an actual podcast. So we must have been showing up in their feed, or somebody's like, I wonder if their eCam started ringing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, maybe.
Let's see this.
It seemed like they were was allowing me to connect, and then it would say, "Thanks for visiting." And
yeah, because they kick you off. They'd be like, "What the hell's my computer ringing for?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's Johnny Valiant?
Uh-huh. Yeah, there we go. Hey, that's Phil. I bet. There he is. What's up, Phil?
Yeah.
Yep, hold on
Can
one
you
second.
hear me?
Yep. Looking good.
Yay.
And let's go to two guests and bring you guys both back. There he is. Oh, well, he kind of is there. He leaned out of the picture for a second.
Is that?
Oh, wait. Oh, I see. Sorry, that's the wrong picture. 1 second. This is the guest. Oh, that's CPT in there. Sorry. That's funny. There you go. There you go.
Okay.
Now we're in. Excellent. I'm going to move this over here. There you go. And then I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So there you go. And we'll see. Excellent. Yeah. Do you have power? It doesn't look like it.
You look very chilly, Phil.
No. Yeah, it's -6, I believe, right now.
Woof.
And we have not had power all day since about 6 in the morning. We're getting snowstorms for the next couple of hours. Occasional snowstorms, and then hopefully overnight not so much. And we're being told that we're going to be rationed down to about 4 to 6 hours of power a day.
Jesus.
Yeah, tens of thousands of people are going to die.
Yeah, and hence the goal. That's actually the goal.
Yeah, it's the point. It's the point. It's a war crime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
See if
it's targeting civilians with no military. There's no military reason for what they're doing.
Right.
This is simply to terrorize the people of the country and to make them flee or to make them turn against the government.
Right. This is a picture of Putin walking in and out of his birthday cake that he lives in.
Coming back in 15.
He always walks out of those giant doors and he looks like a Lilliputian. Thank you, Chicago.
Did Phil freeze on this?
I don't know. Did he? Phil, you there? Oh, he dropped out. He'll be back.
You're listening to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
I've had people walk out of me before, but not when I was being so charming.
Video streaming at halsparks.com.
I don't care for you or for the putrid sludge you're troweling out.
Damn puss-faced little pimp stick.
True progressive talk.
Might be a good time for you guys to give up.
So sometimes an industry is very crowded. You know what I mean? Sometimes you start a business right when there's just nobody else doing it. You can make some money doing it, and you're the only game in town, and you get 80% of the market share. If you're a soda company or you're McDonald's or whatever, you start before everybody else. Ford, for example, for a very long time. And then everybody else is fighting for the extra 20% that's scrappy. By the way, Phil joined us during the break and dropped out. He's okay. It's just power issues on his end. Hopefully he'll join back in just a moment. But
he looked chilly.
Yes, he did. He looked very cold because it's a negative. Is it -6 degrees there at this time? And so he's. It's pretty brutal. Anyways, I couldn't hear if he said 6 or -6. I don't think it matters. For the very reasons I made in my jokes at the Elk Grove Village show to support Indivisible. But one of the things that you see when you get somebody like Donald Trump involved is he'll wait until there are 5 other businesses that are already oversaturating the market and jump right in. Hence, him starting Truth Sinkhole right as Parler and Gab and Rumble and all these other MAGA sites would pop up, and Twitter had basically turned right wing. He decided, in an already flooded field where there aren't enough viewers, subscribers, followers to go around, let me just water that down even more. And then there was a point where he did the same thing with crypto. And if you'll notice, the Trumps entered the crypto market really heavily last summer. They really started to make a push. They started, there was this big story about how the UAE had used Trump coin as a form of money laundering, basically, to just filter it through there so he could get a bribe effectively by just running it through his coin, artificially inflating the price temporarily, and letting him take a fee off of you using his money like it was a currency. And from that, he was like, this is a real business model. This is awesome. And then they decided, let's go all in. This is going to be the Bitcoin. Trump was reticent about crypto because it's obvious money laundering and he's too stupid to figure out how it works. And so he's worried that somebody else will know how it works, and then he's screwed. And then what? So he just avoided it. But then his son, looking like Ellis from Die Hard with blazing rails of powdered donut mix on his nose, comes in and goes, Dad, we gotta do the crypto thing. It's huge. You don't have to, it doesn't cost you anything, and it's gonna blow up. If it goes anywhere, we don't have to put a few million in, we're gonna be billionaires just by sitting on it. We don't have to do anything. It's amazing. And then as soon as they got in, ladies and gentlemen, as soon as they got in, with any seriousness, he can't reconnect? Okay. We'll keep him trying. He's working on reconnecting. Okay. Well, if he pops back in, we will see him. So just let him know we're ready anytime he can come back in. He might need to refresh or restart his browser, other stuff, because it's a new link. Sometimes the old link will reappear in your cache if you restart the page, stuff like that. So, anyways, in this is one of my favorite stories of the week. I got to tell you. Crypto crash accelerates as investors flee risky assets. Okay, first of all, my only problem with this headline is that he calls crypto an asset. It's not. It's an illusion of an asset.
It's all speculation.
Yeah, exactly. Bitcoin, the world's largest cryptocurrency, has lost more than $1.2 trillion worth of value from its high watermark on October 6th. It's lost $1.2 trillion since October. It's down to 70,000, or it was. Oh, sorry, I'm mistaken. It's below 64,000 in late afternoon trading. The last time I looked, which was like a day and a half ago, it was at 70. Okay, so now it bounced back up to 69,000, still under 70.
Whoa.
And let me tell you something about the sort of the buy-in on this, is that there was a peak where it was $125,000 per Bitcoin, and now it's almost half, right? And which is magical that it's dropped in half, which means that right about the time this was happening, this is in October, this is when the Trumps were ramping up their investment in Bitcoin. That they were literally just doubling down. Oh my God, this is going to be amazing. They started effectively in August when it seemed safe. Let me see if I can find the August number. Yeah, around one of its earlier peaks. We're like, wow, we can't miss out. It's just going to keep going up. And then as soon as they got in around the 12th of August, it went down a little bit. Everybody got nervous, and they're like, don't worry about it. We'll buy more. And then they jumped in, and it was volatile a bit, but they're like, volatility is part of it. And then it hit this peak of 126, and everybody was like, are we past the kind of trial balloon of crypto, and are we moving into it's going to be $1 million a Bitcoin's going to be $1 million, and it's really going to work everywhere, and the adoption of it is going to be ginormous. And finally, there's this adoption glass ceiling that the average person has about crypto because it's useless unless you're a gun runner or you're selling human beings. Or I guess, in all fairness, even parts of human beings. If you're in the organ trade, crypto's your buddy. Crypto's your friend. Or if you're kidnapping a Today Show host's mother, for example. Or pretending to, because...
What's the actual...
Yeah. If for those of you that have been living under rocks, Savannah Guthrie's mother was allegedly, perhaps, kidnapped. And the person who has her is demanding ransom of some sort. They are in communication. She needs heart medication, and she was bleeding when she left the house, which could be major or minor. Nobody knows. But the chances of her being alive without her medication, as the days go on, lower the chance that anybody's going to pay a ransom for a corpse in this situation. And now the FBI is involved and all this stuff, so it's going to be even worse because Kash Patel's going to, come down and do what he did after Charlie Kirk's murder, which is like sniff rocks and follow the trail or something. But the point of this is that crypto is useless for battling the affordability crisis, which again is a hoax, so I don't know anybody would care. But right?
Yeah, Democrats made it up, so I ran on it.
Yeah. So it is. I love this. The guys who are all in on it, though, like the guys at CoinDesk, say Bitcoin to see its next leg of adoption, says CoinDesk's David Laval. I got to tell you something. That's what you'd have to say to get the number back up. Crypto is based on two basic principles: FOMO and the greater idiot theory. It is a magical combination of the two. The idea of fear of missing out and that there will always be somebody dumber than me to pay more for this than I bought it for. You see like big like super houses often pass hands with nobody living in them for a long time because it's an investment property that nobody, and you're selling it to a bigger and bigger like millionaire who needs to, launder some money. So there at no point is like crypto going to take off in a meaningful way before quantum computing comes online and governments have access to it. The U.S. government already does. Google has a quantum computer and the like. And these are the very things you would need to break the crypto code and steal everyone's crypto. So, and the awareness of this is driving people out of crypto and into gold. The very same people, the reason gold is going up and crypto is going down is because the same people are buying it. And ironically enough, there's Phil. Let's take a break and we'll come right back and have Phil join us. We'll do it a little bit early so we can jump straight into what. So
come on, Phil.
Jump back in there. It's the Houseparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide. There he is. Welcome back, sir.
Just rebooted everything.
Yeah, sometimes that's what it takes.
Yeah.
It's bad when it happens on my end, since I'm the keymaster of Gozer, Vulgus El Dorado, Lord of the Sevilla. This is in a second.
Let's see here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There we go. And then let's go back here. And the Epstein FSB Nexus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, all his trips to Moscow.
Right. And in coordination with or in line with or around when Trump is visiting, either before or after,
back in 20.
Like they're tag teaming.
Yeah.
So.
Someone in the chat says they have plenty of body heat for you, Phil.
This is Tom Hartman, and
Look
you're
out.
listening to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide, on Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT.
Welcome back, Philip Hittner joining us from Kyiv, trying to stay warm. He is layered up like he's in Chicago. It's interesting that I think he and Johnny Million are wearing the same hat.
We might be.
I feel left out, really. I didn't get the Army toque memo this morning.
Gotta do it.
So slash jacket slash hoodie. Yeah.
Solidarity here.
Okay. Guys look like my backup dancers in my new R&B single. Yes, Philip Hittner, hype man for the Ukrainians, if I dare call you that. The biggest news beyond the fact that Russia is actively attacking Ukraine's civilian energy infrastructure in an attempt to murder civilians by freezing them to death or killing them in a myriad of other ways associated with all the things you would need power for. The Ukrainians have managed to kill 1.5 more Russians than Russia can recruit. For the second time since the invasion, the enemy has suffered more losses in manpower than it has managed to mobilize. And that is trending. This has been an ongoing concern for the Russians, is that there does not seem to be an end in sight. The Russian army lost between 20 and 25,000 soldiers every month in the war against Ukraine, especially in the last 6 months. And they have been able to, they've only been able to get about 10,000 recruits.
Yeah. And they're going to have to start recruiting from parts of Russia that they don't want to recruit from, like St. Petersburg and Moscow,
right?
Where the ruling elite live. Not to say that they haven't had people signing up from those areas so far, but the vast majority are coming from rural Russia, out east in the far, the Siberian provinces and stuff like that, where poverty is a real problem. And also, just don't, there's nothing to do. So if you can get $4,000 for a signing bonus and earn, $1,500 or whatever, $1,000 a month, that's pretty good for somebody who was born and raised in Irkutsk.
Yeah. What kind of ads do they? What kind of ads do they run though? Travel to exotic places, meet exotic technology, and be killed by it. Because at a certain point, you're just going there to nap in a trough for a couple of weeks before you're blown up by a drone.
Yeah, and the younger folks who have access to workarounds of government restrictions on information, guys who can get onto Telegram and use a VPN and stuff like that. They're the ones that kind of know this stuff, and so they're the most reluctant to have anything to do with it. But again, there's a lot of people who are only getting government issued information, and they're not telling them the truth about the casualty numbers. So there is some concern in Ukraine that Putin might go for another round of mobilization in spring for some sort of spring offensive. We'll see how many soldiers he's able to muster up 4 years into this thing. So we'll see.
Right.
Yeah, but the recruitment process in Russia is not good. The training is not good. That's why they're importing people from African nations or, from North Korea.
Scooping up orphans now. That's the other thing too, is that once orphans turn 17 or 18, they're handing them a gun and sending them to the front line.
Yep, that too. All of those things are happening. And then they don't send. They They also downplay the killed in action for very cynical reasons that they'll just call you missing in action,
right.
so that your family gets a different pension or a different payout than if you were KIA and they admitted it. So that lowers the numbers as well for purely financial, cynical reasons. But they are definitely doing that.
Right.
Look, it's. I think it's. There's a real possibility of growing opposition to the war.
Yeah.
But Russia has been beaten down by Putin over the last 25 years. That not to mention that every Russian government has been oppressive going back to
forever.
Ivan the Terrible. It's
so that wasn't an ironic nickname, like calling a big guy tiny.
When this war started,
dude was a teddy bear.
He's a very sweet guy. When this war started, actually, I posted. So I have a favorite painter, a Russian imperial painter. He was born outside of Kharkiv. So the Ukrainians claim him, but then so do the Russians.
Right.
There's a guy by the name of Ilya Repin. And one of Repin's most famous painting is called The Death of the Tsarevich, in which Ivan the Terrible, who is Ivan IV, who did go mad towards the end of his life, killed his own son. Because his son came to him and said, "We are losing in this war, down south near the Black Sea," and Ivan lost his mind and beat his own son's skull in with his cell. And so it's a really evocative painting. If anybody wants to, after the show, take a good look. It's a really powerful painting because it's this madman who professed love for his child, but in a fit of, insanity and anger, destroyed his legacy, destroyed his future, his descendants, his heirs, because he was his only son. And I posted that when the war started, that this was Putin, and that Putin was going to kill the thing that he professes to love. He professes, there it is. Yeah. I mean, look at the despair on that, in that man's eyes. And I posted this the first couple of weeks of the war, and I said, Putin is going to destroy the thing he proclaims to love, Russia. He claims to be a patriotic Russian who wants to reestablish the empire and the Russian, Ruski Mir, the Russian world. And in so doing, he's going to destroy it. And I still believe that's true. I mean, that he is going to, there's no good way out for him.
Right.
I spoke today. We had our first recording session in the studio with our new generator, which is fantastic to have, but not something that I can take, that I can be kind of, loose with. It's expensive to run. It's heavy. It's, it's loud,
smelly,
and
right.
Loud and smelly, and but it's the only way. And I have said this so I've got two fundraisers that I normally work with. One is called Cars for Ukraine, which is an admirable organization. Anybody can look it up it has its own website. I've posted it in my profile on socials and all the rest of it. That is a wonderful program, and I am proud to be a contributor to it, along with a lot of different content creators. But as much as I am proud to be part of Cars for Ukraine, I am now, they still need cars for the front line, absolutely, ambulances, all the rest of it. That is still essential.
Yeah.
But we are in a serious humanitarian crisis. as I was saying before, we had our, before I dropped out, we're just going to have technical issues. It's just the way it's going to be because power is a mess, and getting on the internet is a mess, and all the rest. Anyhow, so I'm involved with Cars for Ukraine as a fundraiser, but recently, Lev Parnas and Malcolm Nance and I have started another fundraiser. It's a GoFundMe. It's just called Generators for Ukraine. And if you go to the GoFundMe, it says it's Generators for Odessa. That's where it started. But it is branched out, and we're trying to get as many generators in here because there's an absolute urgent need, and tens of thousands. I think it's going to be in the tens of thousands of civilians that are going to die from exposure. This is a serious humanitarian crisis, and we need more than cars right now. We need generators, right? And so we're involved in that. I'm involved in that. I like to say I have taken custody of one of the generators, but if there is a life or death urgent need, that it'll go elsewhere. But Lev and Malcolm and I agreed that fighting the information war still remains a vital necessity, and getting the word out about what's happening here, because I don't see this getting any traction in America.
Right.
It's getting some in Europe, but it's just not. It's not latching in that Russia is purposefully going to kill these people and civilians in particular, targeting civilians. The weather is one of the harshest winters we've had in years. I've been coming here for over 25 years, and I've seen it cold like this before, but it's rare, and we've been lucky so far. But this is insane how cold it is. It's bitterly cold, and it's just that folks are doing the best they can. Everybody's trying to be as inventive as they possibly can. People are doing things like putting tents, putting up 1 or 2 man tents inside their house, inside their apartment, because it's easy. A smaller space is easier to heat. People are doing things like putting large pots of water on a gas stove, if they have a gas stove as opposed to an electric one, and that'll give you steam heat. But we're learning from the Kiev authorities that the damage has been so bad, and we're 4 years into this thing now. But this year in particular, they have been, in the last 2 months, they have hit almost every energy or electric producing plant. Thermal, nuclear is under incredible stress, and they've had to temper down nuclear power because they don't want to overrun the system. So we are being told by Kiev authorities that we can expect to be down to about 4 to 6 hours of electricity a day in the capital. And today, for example, I have not had power for over 12 hours now. I lost power at 6 a.m. It is now 8:30 p.m. here. At home, I went without any power. We got the generator up and running because I interviewed somebody today.
Let's take a break. Hold on. Save that till after the break. We got to take a break, and we'll be back right after this. And I also want to discuss. We're going to have some questions from the chat room, and also I want to discuss this whole Trump's timeline by June idea that Zelensky was bringing up, that they want to put a pin in this for the midterms. It's not going to happen, but I want to talk about how they're going to pressure Zelensky to that end. In the interim. We'll be back right after this. Yeah, there's a question in the Discord as well, Johnny. I don't know if you're in there.
Sorry?
There's a couple of questions in the Discord as well.
I'm not in the Discord. It didn't work.
You big jerk.
I tried.
Let's see. Are you on Discord?
I am.
Me?
I'm on your channel,
Yeah.
but let's see here.
Let's see.
I'm getting plenty from our chat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Are you on Discord? Period?
I am.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you text me your handle on there? Like what it's called?
Yeah, I'm in Discord, but the effort to get me in on the staff chat was fruitless.
Oh, well, I will add to that then. I will see if I can do it on my end. But just send me your name on there. Because I did a search, I couldn't find it.
Really?
Yeah. Rally. Mm-hmm. There we go. All right. Let's see. I'm sending you
Oh, did you find me?
Nope. Oh. Who was that? Oh, did CPT drop out and come back in?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
You're listening to House Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
Welcome back. So, Axios running this article, but it's a quote from Zelensky that Trump wants the Russia-Ukraine peace deal by June before the midterms come. And you can stack this with his. He also thought he would end it in one phone call. So what? Ultimately, if he's not if he thinks it's just going to happen because he needs it to politically, so that he can crow about 9 wars I've stopped. So don't you dare vote for Democrats, right?
I mean, look, if he can bring this war to a close by June, I don't care. Mm-hmm. I'd even clap for the devil himself if we could get a just and sustainable peace here.
Right.
But this is ridiculous. This is again. And I was talking with this guy that I interviewed today, and I'm looking forward to putting it out. I don't want to give too much away, but I mean, we did have this conversation. It's like the Trump administration, actually both the Biden and the Trump administration have, and it's not just the Americans. Some other countries have done this as well, the Germans in particular. This is the exact wrong way to approach the Ukrainians. Mm-hmm. This is 100%, 180 degrees the wrong way to approach the Ukrainians. Ukraine has been a colonized state for 500 years. Mm-hmm. Okay, they finally have their own country. Okay, they have their own country back. They have a capital in Kiev. I have my dear love for Saint Sophia. Back when she was one of the can I say bad ASS
yes.
of European history. She was the leader of Ukraine, and there was a time when Ukraine, Kiev was one of the 5 largest human settlements on the European continent in
Right.
the post-Rome era. I mean, this is no joke. And for 500 years, they've been subjugated by one empire or another. And they finally have their own country back. They finally can build a country. And they're not going to just swap out Moscow as their imperial master and replace it with DC or with Brussels or London.
Right.
This is the wrong way to do this. And if the Trump administration actually had some people with some expertise,
Right.
with serious people who know this place, they would know that this is the exact wrong way to approach Ukrainians. And Zelensky himself also, if Zelensky bows to this, because the agreement that's on the table, apparently the Ukrainians say it's supposed to be a 20-point program, and the Ukrainians have said that they're basically on board with everything except for two major sticking points. And one is the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, because it's one of the largest energy producing plants on the continent. It's the largest nuclear power plant. Ukraine needs it. Ukraine also can export electricity from that, but the Russians occupy it currently, and they would probably want to hold on to it because they're going to need to provide electricity to the areas in the Donbass that they've conquered. Now, that's a problem, but I've spoken to so many Ukrainians who say, actually, that's probably something we can work out. The one other thing that is a real big problem is that Russia is demanding territory that they haven't even conquered yet. So they want everything. Again, I have made this analogy in the past, but I'll make it again. It's like as if somebody had taken San Diego and then said, well, we took San Diego, so give us all of California.
Right.
Yeah. Give us everything up to the Oregon border.
Let's, I know we have some questions, ridiculous. Johnny Million. Let's grab one of those, and then I'm going to work on my getting you into the stat thing while we're doing that.
Sweet. All right. So this question is from Ed Brayman. Can you ask Philip what happened in Kapustin Yar test range in Russia?
Yeah, this is an interesting story. I think this is the Oreshnik. Is this the Oreshnik facility, or is it that there were two major strikes in the last, recent couple, 24 or 48 hours. The Ukrainians hit a place where they produce the what's called the Oreshnik hypersonic missile. Which has been a real problem here. It's not a devastating weapon, but it's problematic. It's very hard to shoot down. The only thing that can shoot it down that we know of are kind of the high-end kind of Patriot missile battery. There's European versions of the same, but apparently we did at some point get some more missiles for the Patriots, because we got a real big shellacking last night, and there are several reports of Patriots having gone up from Kiev to strike these missiles. But anyway, this facility was hit, and I think that's the town he's referring to. That's the Oreshnik one, because there was another town that was also hit where they're doing drone production. I believe it is. So, look, the Ukrainians are using a number of different methods, drones, but they say, recently the Ukrainians have announced that they've developed their own cruise missile. They call it the Flamingo. They've recently come out now in the last 24, 48 hours that they've upgraded it. That they've made it even more, lethal. So they apparently use these flamingos in a number of different sites. Now, they've been targeting primarily oil and gas production, either refineries or storage, because they want to choke off the funding that Russia gets, even though they're circumventing the sanctions. Europeans have started grabbing what's called the shadow fleet, and that's a good thing. But they've been focused on Russia's export primarily, although some internal, of their fossil fuels. However, having said that, they've also been really, really hitting Russian military facilities as well, and military production facilities as well. So that's what they were targeting. I think this is the Oreshnik site, but there are two that have happened recently, and I want to say this is the Oreshnik.
Right. And let's grab another one, Johnny, because we got about 3 minutes before the break. So let's grab one of those.
Cool. So this next one is from Kindness Therapy. What are his thoughts on the new START treaty expiring a few days ago?
Oh, yeah, that's a good story. A good story. It's an interesting story. I mean, the Russians have been dismantling arms agreements for years now. And START and SALT were the two cornerstones. Both of those arms, restriction treaties for nuclear weapons were cornerstones of reduction of nuclear weapons on both sides of the equation. So, the Russians have been making these threatening, pronouncements that they're going to restart their mid-range nuclear weapons program, which would threaten Europe. It threatens the near abroad. So Warsaw, even depending on what they develop, other Europeans. And it's meant to terrorize. It's meant to. They cannot win a conventional war, so they are. That's the only thing that they really have in their back pocket, is to shake that nuclear saber, and hope that it intimidates everybody. It's like Trump in the White House, screaming at Zelensky that you're threatening nuclear war. Well, no, Zelensky isn't threatening nuclear war. Russia. Ukraine doesn't have nuclear weapons.
Right.
Ukraine doesn't have nuclear weapons because we convinced them to give them up.
Right. And we convinced them also by guaranteeing their security, which we are not living up to under Donald Trump and the like. So, yeah, again, it's just another situation where his word means nothing, and the word of the United States means nothing under him, because he's there to feather his own nest and protect his own friends. And, he's basically, there's direct parallels between Trump protecting his friends, donors, and co-conspirators in the Epstein files and Putin. And there's some overlap that we've seen in the files where Epstein clearly had connections with Russian intelligence and was using it, even if just trying to get a handle on a Russian woman who was blackmailing rich men in New York City. And he was I guess muscling in on his territory in that regard, because it's hey, that's my job, right? But the issue with with both of them is whether it's Trump and Putin or Trump and Epstein's co-conspirators, is there's this certain level of just as a protection racket. Basically, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. It's an imbalanced agreement because Putin will always take his interest over somebody else, and everybody's afraid to even possibly question him on it, because lest they end up, pushed out a third floor window. And I don't know how different Trump is from that, how much he's afraid of him now or thinks he's safe as president. It's hard to tell where his brain is at, if it's anywhere at all.
Well, and they don't, look, they have a modus operandi, the Russian intelligence services do. And it's not, they don't always release what they have. The threat of it, the threat of it is the thing that motivates the people that they influence.
Right.
So just because we haven't seen some sort of leak. I saw recently somebody making the argument that, like, well, why wouldn't they just drop this on Trump? Well, they don't, or anybody else in the cabinet, or a major head of a strategically important corporation, or a thought leader,
because it's a gun you can only fire once. That's why.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Exactly. So, I find it highly suspect, all of that. But look, getting back to the arms control stuff. This is bad. This is really, really bad, and it sends the exact wrong message to not only what's happening here with the fact that we promised their integrity and their territorial integrity, and then we let it drop. We didn't fulfill that promise. So it's bad enough for the Ukrainians, but what message does that send to every tin pot dictator, or the DPRK, or Iran, or anybody else? That ultimately the only thing that protects you is a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, and
so that's going to cause proliferation. And that's exactly what we don't want. This is exactly why we went. I've spoken in the past about my firsthand experience watching them make the Iran nuclear deal, and the hard diplomatic efforts that went into making sure that Iran didn't get it. And then Trump comes in and just scraps it. We've got to be more level-headed when it comes to nukes. We got to control them better. So we need these treaties. And so this is why it's disgusting as well. But also, we can't be held captive to a country that every time we say, oh, we're going to support the Ukrainians more, they say we've got nukes, and we bow.
Yeah, again, using mutual assured destruction as an umbrella under which they can attack anybody they want. When we're going to take a break, we'll come back with more of Philip Ittner, host of On the Edge. And of course, we've got the link pinned on the YouTube channel for generators for Odessa/Ukraine. Check that out if you could. We'll be back right after this. By the way, Phil, that is Jeffrey Epstein's Russian passport.
His visa. That's his visa. Yeah.
His visa
I used
is
to have one of
right.
those.
Yep.
I used to hold on. Keep that up there for a second. I want to see what category he had. Oh my God, it's multi-entry.
Yeah,
it's It's 3 years multi-entry. He could come and go as he pleased.
Wow.
Oh man,
which would cover the time
coming back.
Thank you, like Assad, which would cover the time from him going to jail, taking his death, and coming back.
Let us be happy together, whether the weather is cloudy or sunny. I will always be your funny honey bunny. I am lucky, you are lucky. Let us get lucky together, whether the weather is cloudy or breezy. I'll be there to say, hey, come on, let's take it easy. 'Cause isn't it nice to have the friends that you do? And isn't it nice that the sky is so blue? And isn't it nice to say I love you, chugga chugga choo choo woo? I am smiling, you are smiling. Let us smile together, whether the weather is cloudy or stormy. I will still be there in the morning. I'll be right by your side in the morning. I'll make you breakfast in the morning. I hope that you like cereal.
Yay! Hooray!
I think we have one thing to be happy about, even in our current state, is that none of us have to do our show dressed like this so the government doesn't kill us.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a Russian YouTuber that talks crap about the Kremlin and what's going on from within Russia, and has to do it with this on his face.
Wow.
So that they don't kill him. All the while, while flopping around the, like switching his IP address about every 2 minutes.
Oh yeah.
So they don't single in on him. But that was from a story about like Russians reacting to the cost of living collapse, because they are fighting, they're heading towards, Trump was always saying, if I didn't get elected, America would be Venezuela on steroids. Well, guess what? Russia is Venezuela on steroids. It's actually more like on beta blockers, but still, it's still in a situation where economically they're, Putin is, it's interesting the parallels between what Trump is attempting to do with the United States, what Xi Jinping is attempting to do in China, and what Putin is doing in Russia right now. They're almost on the same track, just their own populist version of it. It's almost as if they've been drinking their own Kool-Aid and think that this is the only way to solve a problem. And they've all come to the same kind of power-hungry, mad conclusion about how to do this. I don't know if you know this, but Zhang Youxia, the head of the CMC, the People's Liberation Army head, there's belief that he's dead, that he was basically busted for corruption, and they decapitated the CMC, a 7-man group that was like the Joint Chiefs. There's only 2 left, and one of them is Xi Jinping. The other guy is basically the pencil pusher, is the guy who actually carried out, he's like the secretary of doing what the CMC wants done. He's the only surviving member, and he won't last long either. Putin's doing the exact same thing with the oligarchs around him. If they're not on board or he needs their money, even if they are on board and he needs their money, boop, out a window they go.
Not just the oligarchs. I mean, we just heard yesterday about the deputy head of the GRU, Russia's military intelligence, dead, assassinated, shot and killed. Putin or the Kremlin has blamed Ukrainians.
Of course.
Ukrainians like, nope, that wasn't us, man. And the Ukrainians, to be fair, they will often, even when they don't want to publicize it, they'll do a wink and a nod,
right,
and be like, yeah, we did that,
right.
This time they are absolutely like, nope, not us. Yeah. This is an incredibly important man, by the way. The GRU, Alexiev. Alexiev. The GRU is the one who attacked us in 2016. Mm-hmm. This is Russian intelligence. This is active measures as well. I mean, this is military. I always get frustrated when people talk about 2016, and I'm like, one of the things that makes me very frustrated is if they had wanted to do this in a covert operations way, they have an entire intelligence agency, foreign intelligence agency that could have been used. The civilian, basically our equivalent of the CIA, but instead they use the GRU, which is their military intelligence, which is again why I say that the 2016 election was militarily attacked.
Yeah.
To put the scale on Donald Trump. And I know everybody goes, Russia. Well, that's meant to be dismissive of what was a real, honest to God attack on the United States of America by interfering with our election and putting their thumb on the scale for Trump. So, this guy was part of that. So you're not going to see me shedding a tear for him.
Right.
But it does beg the question of was this an inside job?
Right.
Who did he tick off?
Yeah.
Who did he make angry in Moscow?
Or is it as simple as he's being asked to do the impossible? We run into this with Donald Trump a lot. Certainly Xi Jinping has cleared people out of the CCP, that he asks to do something that is just not possible. It's not materially possible. There aren't enough recruits or enough vulnerabilities in the cyber network of the United States to find a hole that you can get in and do as easily as you did in 2015, especially anymore, because we've as much as we might pretend that there's not anything going on in with Russia messing with our elections and our energy grid and all that kind of stuff over here, they constantly are. Clearly, they're doing, similar things. China and Russia are doing things back and forth with each other, and doing stuff to us as well. So while that process is going on, while they're all finagling, there are just certain, vulnerabilities that just don't exist anymore because everybody's shoring up their defenses. And so you get asked to do something. Putin sends one of these guys, into like, hey, we need them to have an attack on this front or that front. And then when they try to do it, if they even try, because they know it's impossible to start with, it doesn't work. And then they get hung out to dry specifically because of this. They get, because they get pushed out a window because they were asked to do the impossible and they were incapable of pulling it off.
Yeah. Now let me just clarify one quick thing, just to be do my due diligence. He wasn't killed.
Yes, he was shot.
As of right now, he is he's in hospital. They've performed surgery. They're hoping that his life can be saved. But the fact that the deputy head of the GRU had an assassination attempt against him is, it obviously would have been worse had he died for the Russians. I mean, it would have been more traumatic for the Russians. Not that I care. But but no, he is apparently he there's a good chance he's going to survive. But it's still it's still worth noting that in the middle of the Russian capital, the deputy head of Russian intelligence can get shot.
It would be the equivalent. It would be the equivalent of Tulsi Gabbard being shot in the United States. Yeah. As far as a position goes, because that's like DNI sort of deputy to the real CIA head and the real FBI head in that regard.
Yeah, in DC.
Yes,
in DC.
Right. By the way, and this is on top of, and I want to add to these, Vanil Sarvarov, who was killed by a bomb in his car last month. Last April, Yaroslav Moskalik was also killed in a car bomb in Moscow. And then Ukraine security forces actually claimed responsibility for killing the head of Russia's chemical, radiation, and biological weapons unit, Igor Kirillov. And so that's the one where they were like, yeah, we did it. But the other ones they didn't lay claim to, which means
they were very, very the one they did, the one where they put an explosive in one of these motorized scooters that are now in urban centers. They put a bomb in that. When that went off and killed a Russian, I think that was the chemical head. Kiev didn't waste any time.
Yeah, they were like,
Kiev came right out.
Oh, sorry. I mean, we don't know. It goes back to that whole thing about Trump saying that that you don't hold the cards, they don't hold the cards, when actively Zelensky was holding the cards on the drone attack that they did less than a month later. Yeah. That was one of the most extraordinary, breaches of Russian security in its entire history as a country. And that whole time he was holding his cards very close to his chest in that circumstance. Let's grab another question. We got about 2 minutes left. Maybe we have a short one, Johnny Million. We can get in there.
Nice. Let's see. How is the food supply? Has it been also disrupted?
No, food is okay. Not a lot of variety. Not great quality, but no shortages.
Okay, that's good. And is
getting fuel for generators a problem as well?
Yes, that is a problem. It's expensive to run the darn thing, and it's difficult to get petrol from gas stations in the center of Kiev, because a lot of people generators are everywhere in this city now. So a lot of people are getting petrol, but it's not impossible, but it's not easy, and it's arduous.
Well,
everything is arduous.
Yes, right.
Everything is sometimes more difficult than it needs to be.
That's right. We're at the end of the show. Thank you so much, Philip Bittner, for being here. You got a new episode of On the Edge on Sunday, or are you still working on it?
Not this Sunday, because we still have major problems with the internet, and we have major problems with being able to upload, download, edit, all that good stuff. But hopefully next Sunday, and then every Sunday following.
Excellent.
So we're going to get a little backlog.
Nice. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. And thank you, Johnny Million. Everybody take a look at the pinned tweet or the pinned comment in our chat, and for Generators for Ukraine. We'll see you next time. I'm Hal Sparks. This is Hal Sparks Radio Program, Mega Worldwide.
Yay.
There we go. Woof. Thank you, Chicago. Sorry about the opening.
Weirdness.
No worries.
Yeah, as you do, as we say around here. Hold on, whoops. Let me bring this up. Here we go.
This is some
which is almost as fun as the new Epstein theme song.
Black ball on my pants, can't track this. Screenshots cropped out, can't catch this. If it looks too wild on the axis, highlight, right click, boom. Redact this. Blur that face, can't fact check the madness.
Yeah, it works. It works. AI is perfect for dumb stuff like that. That is the sweet spot for what it's good for. Anyways, appreciate you both. Stay warm, keep your batteries charged, and thank you for joining us, Phil. In spite of the technical glitches. It's going to be like this.
It's going to be like this. It's going to be like this throughout the winter.
I completely understand. All right, be safe.
We'll just keep going.
We're fine with
just
it.
Keep going.
Yeah, we're good.
That's all we can do.
Exactly. We'll roll with it. All right. And thank you.
All right. Love you both.
All right. Thanks so much.
Take care, guys.
I'll let you guys
go.
Have
a good show, Johnny.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Johnny, are you live streaming after this? Are you streaming next? Did he jump off already? I don't know if he told you guys. Johnny's after show? Okay, YouTube is preset to rate. Trucker John's after show. Gotcha. Okay. So we'll go straight to Trucker John then. Appreciate you guys. Much love. And I will see you guys real soon. Hit the like, share the show. Patreon.com/HalSparks. Venmo is a great way to buy me a cup of coffee or some such. And we'll see you guys later on. And thank God we can play the tunes that we can't play on the air when we're doing radio. All right, I'll see you guys later. What a bunch of stuff.
This is some bullshit. We see through it. This is some bullshit. Can't undo it. Say it loud. We won't quit. This is some bullshit. Paper thin truths that crumble like ash. Golden thrones built on stolen cash. We raise our fists, we break the mold.